Welcome back to Brandon Sports Talk. In today's episode, I have the privilege to interview the Chattanooga assistant softball coach, Cheyanne Tarango. How are you doing today?
Good. How are you?
I'm doing good. Can you talk about how you knew that you wanted to coach college softball?
Um, I've been in softball my entire life, and so during college and then post-college when I was still playing, I just wanted to be around the game, and I knew that this was an opportunity that I could continue to stay in it. And so once I decided to hang out the cleats, I decided to go right into coaching.
What was it like playing for the Tennessee Volunteers?
I loved it. I mean, as far as the University of Tennessee is amazing. They have the great facilities, great fans. I love my teammates. I was blessed to be able to go to the College World Series 3 out of my 4 years. So that was definitely one of my bucket lists when I was choosing colleges. But I think that was probably the best takeaway is just experiencing it all and at such a high level. I think it definitely prepared me for what's next as far as the real world.
Of course, what was it like going into the College World Series?
It was crazy. I mean, my first time that we did it, it was more stressful, if anything, because people expected us to be there. And then after that, we kind of got together as a team. And the following year, my sophomore year, talked about how we needed to play more relaxed and go in and have fun. And we knew that we were going to give everything we got, and we're not going to take it lightly, but we're also not going to put too much pressure on ourselves. So it was definitely a completely different mindset, and it ended up being a different way that we played. I mean, we ended up going to the finals. And so I mean, I think it is an experience that I can take for forever. Like it near and dear to my heart because it is an amazing experience, and I wish everyone could experience it or at least go and watch because it is so much fun.
What was it like putting on that ring as a player?
Um, as a player, I mean, as a player, it's hard work, right? I mean, I'm up every morning at 6 a.m. and you work out, and then we have to go to school, and then we have to go to practice, and then and then we have tutoring and everything. So there's just, I mean, it's a grind as a player. I think it definitely is extremely rewarding at the end when you sit there and you get to the College World Series. I know when we finally made it, I think it was my senior year. Um, we didn't go my junior year. So my senior year was kind of like all or nothing. And I remember winning the super regionals, and we were all crying because it means so much more when you're not used to it, I guess. You learn to appreciate it, and I mean, like I said, tears of joy. And I don't think I've ever really done that before aside from then.
What is it like, obviously, getting to coach on the Mexico national team?
Well, I didn't coach on Mexico national team. I was a player on the Mexico national team. So I played for them right out of college from 2015 until 2019. Again, a completely different experience as far as the level of play and just the heart and the dedication that you have, especially post college, because you don't have the trainers and the strength coaches and the nutritionists and all that other stuff to kind of keep you in line. It's all on yourself until you get to summer where we're all together. But it's kind of, I mean, you take it upon yourself, and some seasons you really notice about how lax you were throughout the year. And then I think especially when it got towards the end, or especially when we were going like for worlds and stuff like that, when we knew that there was a big tournament, we kind of like whipped it up into shape and really got on ourselves, and we held each other accountable even when we weren't together. So I loved Team Mexico. We went through some ups and downs, but to see where that program ended in the Olympics is huge. And I know a lot of players, the current players now and the past players from when I started, are super proud of them and excited to see what we did to kind of help get them there.
What was it like playing for the Cleveland Comets in the NPF?
Um, it was another. I loved all of my experiences. I mean, every single one, as far as playing international, playing on a national team, playing in the NPF. I think they're all unique in their own way. NPF was definitely playing the best of the best. And when we first got out there and started playing, you really felt it. I mean, everyone swung harder. They were harder outs, and you learned to kind of adapt as far as learning your teammates behind you, um, and learning about yourself as far as having confidence in yourself when you're playing the best of the best. Because, I mean, yeah, they're great. They're great players. And I mean, they're there for a reason. But so are you. And you have to have confidence in yourself and your own abilities. So I think playing for the Comets definitely changed my mindset in that way.
What was it like, obviously, joining the coaching staff of the University of Louisville?
Yeah, no, I love Louisville. Yeah, everyone talks about how to pronounce it, but it's definitely Louisville. And you have to say it with like marbles in your mouth. But but I loved Louisville. I'm grateful for Sandy Pearsall for giving me that opportunity to get out there and kind of take a step in the right direction as far as coaching. I was kind of in the middle where, you still do the grunt work as kind of like a manager, but also I really appreciated the fact that she kind of took what I had to say and really respected me as a player and as a coach. And so I was really grateful for that opportunity, and I loved every minute of it.
Of course, during that time, what was it like coaching and obviously playing professionally?
Um, it was different, um, and it kind of changed my mindset for what I was going to do after that. Because I mean, I went into University of Louisville for my master's, and that was my main concern. I didn't have a big coaching role. They took what I had to say, but I wasn't heavily relied upon, I guess, if you could say that, because again, I was still in school and stuff like that. So that was different, and I was still training for um, Mexico. So I would train with the girls at practice time. So I would throw to them all the time, and it's giving them work, it's giving me work, giving me reps, that type of thing. So that was kind of nice in order to stay in the game while it's off season for me. But it definitely shined light on how I felt about myself, training wise. I wanted to make sure that I was giving my all into one thing or the other. So I felt like I was split when I was a grad assistant. And I know at that point, Coach Reed now reached out and said that he would like for me to coach UTC. And I just told him, you know what, I'm still playing, and I would rather give my all into the sport that I'm doing and into myself, um, instead of going and coaching and feeling like I'm not giving the girls everything that I have. And when I get into coaching, I wanted to be able to give them everything that I have as far as my mental ability, my physical ability. Like I don't want to show up to practice and think about, okay, well, I need to get my own reps in at some point after today or even before today. I wanted to make sure that they were my main concern. And so playing or coaching at University of Louisville kind of shine light on that. And so I went straight into playing overseas and kind of enjoyed that aspect of my life.
What was it like, obviously, going to Chattanooga and joining the coaching staff as the assistant coach?
I love chat. Being going to school in Knoxville it's only 2 hours away, so I've been here before during my 4 years of college, and I love this area. I think it's definitely up and coming too, and I love being by the water. Everything around chat is great. So I knew what I was getting myself into as far as the area. I knew Coach Reed before um, because he was a coach on the coaching staff for Team Mexico for a while. So we kind of got to know each other, and that's kind of how he reached out to me, because we kind of connected as far as just, talking shop when it comes to softball. I was definitely blessed when I came here to kind of mesh with the girls the way that I have. And then with our coaching staff, I feel like we are all very different, but a good different. We kind of bounce ideas off of each other. We're very respectful of each other and take what we have to say. And ultimately, my mindset is, you know what, I'm going to give you my opinion. I'm going to give you what I think needs to happen, or my suggestions, or whatever it may be. But ultimately, Coach Reed's the head coach, and that's his decision. And I think when you go into a coaching position, especially as an assistant, and you have that mindset, it makes everything a little bit easier. And you don't stress as much, right? I mean, there's a reason I'm not the head coach, and he is. And so I give my opinions, and he's the one that takes it or leaves it. And so, and that's, and I think if anybody goes into an assistant coaching position like that, it'll just make your life a lot easier.
You talk about, of course, the culture that you have helped build at Chattanooga.
Yeah, I mean, I wanted to make sure that the players kind of had a voice, and not felt like we were dictating, that we are constantly communicating with each other, and that they're comfortable around us. I think when players are, I don't want them to fear us. A little bit, yes, but overall, like if there's something that really needs to be discussed, I want them to at least have one or two coaches that they could sit there and go to, and kind of have an outlet, and get whatever they need to get off of their chest. And I think from last year to this year, it's definitely more lighthearted. And last year was kind of a building year as far as creating that environment and making sure that they felt comfortable with me and being able to talk to me about anything that they are concerned with. But this year, you could definitely feel it with the team, that it's very inclusive and very fun, I guess you can say. It's not, I don't want the team to feel like this is their job every day. I want them, they love this sport. They've been playing it since they were 8, 9, 10 years old. And I want them to continue to love it, even though we're practicing, all day, every day. And it's become a job, and I don't want them to feel that way.
What are some of what is it like on the recruitment process, looking at prospective student athletes looking to play college softball?
The recruitment process is a little different than when I was being recruited. When I was being recruited, coaches didn't really have the guidelines that we do now. So I was recruited as a freshman in high school, committed as a sophomore. So that now is not allowed. And it definitely makes it easier on us. It makes it easier on the girls. I know for me, I would have loved to have waited a little bit longer, just because, I mean, nobody's really matured their freshman and sophomore year. You don't know what you want. And there's still so much room for growth, mentally and physically. And so now I think when girls are committed, it definitely gives them a clear head in order to make that decision. But we also have the transfer portal, which makes it a little easier to transfer back and forth. But I also think that making a later decision definitely helps with that. And I'm hoping that within the next couple of years, that transfer portal isn't as deep. It's a little less, just because it hurts me when people sit there and make decisions and then feel like they have to leave because it's not the right fit for them. I want them to be able to make that decision and know wholeheartedly that that's the place that they want to be for the next 4 years or 2 years or wherever it may be, however long it may be. just because I feel like I want them to get the full experience and not continue to jump ship here and there.
Of course, as a assistant coach, what do you look at in prospective student athletes when you go on these official visits and when you go to the campus, when you go to the schools?
When I was being recruited,
No, as a coach, what is it like, obviously, going to see those athletes, and what do you look at in those athletes that are prospective student athletes?
yeah. Well, because softball is so um it's a big mindset when we're playing softball. It's very, very hard as far as we have to get used to failure. And a lot of people find that very difficult, even playing the game for so long. And I think if a player or an athlete is used to failure and grows from failure, I think that's something that we need to look for, as well as just being an all around athlete. A lot of the times in our sport, we get people that are one dimensional, and I want somebody that can hit, can field in multiple positions, has a great mindset in order to bunt, move runners, situational hitting, all these different things that go into the sport. And so there's a lot of different things that we look for in an athlete. But I think like the eye test is probably just being athletic and um, aggressive and loud on the field, because those who fake it make it, I guess. So that's usually my motto: fake it till you make it.
Of course, what does the official visit look like for prospective student athletes looking to go to Chattanooga for softball?
Yeah. So for our official visits, we bring them in, and a lot of the times they'll come in and we will put them in their uniform. We'll dress them up. We'll take some pictures around our indoor and show them around there, as well as on the field. We also will take a campus tour. We'll show them all the different classes, the different buildings, the hot spots on campus as far as, prime picture taking. So we have like a big power C in the middle of the quad area. We also have a silver C, which is kind of cool. We show them the library, the weight room, the basketball arena, the volleyball arena, everything that we have here on campus. We like to show off as much as we can.
Of course, what is it like, obviously, as a coach, seeing those players put on that Chattanooga jersey and feel at home in it?
For me, it gives me chills because I know how it felt when I put on my jersey for the first time. But I don't think they really feel it until their first game, and that's usually in the fall. But I've had a lot of girls that have put them on and just kind of embraced it and felt like a dream come true. And I know that sounds kind of corny, but it is. I mean, your goal is to play D1 softball when you're little. And when you get here and you put on that jersey and you're officially a part of the team, it's a really good feeling. And so for me to sit there and watch them go through that, it definitely warms my heart.
Of course, what advice would you give prospective student athletes that are in high school looking to play college softball?
I would tell them to keep working. Don't be complacent. A lot of the times we'll sit there and we'll realize how good we are. Um, but when we start to get complacent, people see that. And so as a coach, I want somebody that's constantly working and constantly trying to get better no matter how good they are. Um, it's definitely a great trait to have. And when you're sitting there and you're pushing yourself, you're also pushing your team without you even realizing it. And so it's a great quality to have. And I think that that's what you have to have. Your mindset needs to be when you want to play D1 softball.
What advice would you give those college softball players looking to play professionally, like how you did with Mexico?
I think it's definitely make contacts. So as you're playing, shoot emails, post videos, reach out to teams, because they see different things like that. It's not necessarily only the big SEC schools that get into these NPFs or overseas or in the Athletes Unlimited. There's definitely some players, some mid-major teams, and there's never. I tell people that just because you're at a mid-major or even a D2 doesn't mean that you can't play professional, because people go to those schools for all types of reasons. And just because you're at a D2 doesn't mean that you're not D1 caliber. And I think that you have to continue to believe in yourself and sell yourself as much as you would any other time, and be comfortable with selling yourself, because once you get into the real world, selling yourself is definitely part of life, and you have to be able to positively speak about yourself to other people.
What advice would you have for future college coaches looking to get started in coaching college softball?
I recommend people starting smaller. I know a lot of big athletes that come from D1 programs want to go directly into D1 and want to go in the SEC or the ACC or and I think it's very important for you to go a little bit smaller at least and learn how to coach. I think once you get into some of those levels, these girls are very good, and you don't have to work as hard. And I think it feels better when you work harder and you see the progression through these girls. And then once you get to a certain level, then progress to the bigger schools. But I think when you start smaller, you appreciate it more.
That's great advice. Where can my listeners find you at on social media along with the Chattanooga softball program at?
My Instagram handle, Facebook, Twitter, everything is Chi-Town77. And then Chattanooga softball is on Instagram and Facebook and Twitter, I believe. But they're all on my handles.
Thank you again, Cheyanne Tarango, for your interview, and best of luck in your future with Chattanooga softball. You can find Brandon Sports Talk on Facebook at Brandon Sports Talk, Instagram at Brandon Sports Talk, Twitter at Talk_Brandon, and you can find me on YouTube at Brandon Sports Talk. Don't forget to like, comment, and subscribe. Thank you again, Cheyanne, for your interview, and best of luck in your future.
You've been watching Brandon Sports Talk. Please feel free to like, share, and subscribe to Brandon Sports Talk on social media and on YouTube.